Hi, my name is Gigi Wood, and I am a senior PR and advertising student here at DePaul. For my final project, I decided to research how the tobacco industry is trying to recruit new smokers. Cigarette promotion has always towed the ethical line, but with the rise of social media and new products comes a new wave of concerns. The tobacco industry has a long history of using loopholes in cigarette regulations to promote their products. In the 1980s, it was common to see tobacco companies advertising branded clothing or other products associated with their brand. The mantra has always been that they're not trying to recruit new smokers, but simply trying to get current smokers to switch to their brand. Recently, brands are using ambassadors, branded hashtags, events, and other tactics to slide into the radar. Some of these brand deals ask influencers to cover up the images required to be on packaging by law, or in other words, the graphic images required to dissuade consumers in certain countries, according to the CDC. Each day, approximately 3,500 Americans quit smoking, and an additional 1,200 tobacco consumers and former customers die of smoking related illness. Therefore, maintaining current levels of tobacco use and revenues requires that approximately 5,000 new smokers be recruited every day. That's about 2 million per year. Now, this is from 1994, but the statistics are still the same because the number of smokers and people who used to smoke has remained stagnant for the most part. The five largest cigarette companies spent about $8.7 billion on advertising, or $23 million a day, in 2016. The five largest smokeless tobacco or vape companies spent about $753 million in the same year. These numbers are increasing every year, according to the CDC, and when these companies are spending an average of $29 per US resident per year on advertising, it's impossible to say that they're not trying to recruit new smokers or vapers. Another major issue within the industry is the rise of young people who are starting to vape. It makes sense to target vulnerable groups like teenagers when trying to recruit new smokers and vapers. Influencer marketing and guerrilla marketing are some of the most effective ways to advertise a product, with word of mouth and peer pressure also effectively recruiting more young people. The FDA regulations have most recently been updated in August of 2018. There are labeling requirements for different types of tobacco delivery systems, including smokeless tobacco, and it varies by country and by state. Cigarette ads have been banned on television and radio since the 1970s. Since then, a lot of advertising has been restricted to point of sale transactions. Face-to-face purchases are now required as well. Although there are a lot of restrictions, cigarette companies always find loopholes, especially with the rise of social media and lagging regulation. E-cig companies have much more freedom and many more loopholes due to the lack of research on the products and therefore the lack of laws. This has allowed them to advertise in spaces that have been banned for cigarettes for years, and tobacco companies are capitalizing on this. E-cigs are being promoted on social media platforms, and the earned media from these products is also a major contributing factor to their rise. To be honest, the only way to combat the detrimental effects of cigarettes and e-cigs is to ban tobacco, or at least to ban the advertising of it. I understand that there would be job loss and livelihood loss, but over 480,000 people are dying every year from smoking, and nobody knows what the effects of vaping are going to be. A person in Illinois died as a suspected result of vaping in August of 2019, and over 200 people across the country were hospitalized with similar symptoms during the summer of 2019. My aunt works for the FDA in the Tobacco Regulation Department. 2 years ago, I had a conversation with her that I have not been able to shake. Her department was also in charge of the regulation of e-cigs, and I asked her what the regulations were. She said that presently, in 2017 at the time, there were none. This means that nobody really knows what the ingredients are in these products. Testing is slow, and the long-term effects are unknown. The FDA has guidelines for ethical e-cig marketing and production, but these rules are not enforced. They've been able to go after individual companies, such as Juul, to limit flavor options, but the majority of work being done to combat this has been in the form of PSAs. Advertising of tobacco products to recruit new users is completely unethical and often results in recruiting underage people. From the use of influencers to the design of ads, tobacco companies are trying to recruit new, young smokers and vapers. These are products that are addictive and known to cause deadly health problems. It's not just the advertising tactics that are unethical, it's the product itself. These companies profit off of addiction and peer pressure. They take advantage of vulnerable groups in order to make money, most of which they spend trying to get more people addicted to their harmful products. The only solution that would really work is to put a ban on the production of tobacco products, or at least put a strict ban on tobacco advertising.